Have you ever heard someone say, somebody at work says, one day I'm going to leave here. And when I do, I'm going to start my own business. Or when I retire, I'm going to start my own business. Maybe even you've said that. But the thing is, maybe you don't know how. Well, in this video, what I'll do is I'll tell you the 7 steps to starting your own business when you're over 50. And that, my friends, that's up next right here on Over 50 TV. Hi, welcome back to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes. As an entrepreneur and business coach who works with people over 50, I've had the honor of being able to help numerous folks navigate a career path that's just right for them. Many times, often those career paths, they lead away from corporate life and they lead towards realizing a lifelong dream of starting a business. In this video, what I want to do is I'm going to share with you a step-by-step process, a process that I've used to start multiple businesses in my 30-year career. All the businesses I've started, they started out very small, but a couple grew to generate millions of dollars in sales. Now, my first big hit, that was a publishing company. I started it at my dining room table. In the first year, that business barely eked out $80,000 in sales. It was a struggle. But after 5 years, what began as a small local business-to-business magazine, that became a chain of business-to-business publications that generated millions of dollars in sales. And that's not bad for a kid who grew up in a housing projects. So listen, the steps I used to build that business, the steps that I use are the very same steps that hundreds of small business owners I've met over the years use to start and build very successful businesses. What I'll do in this video is I'm going to share those steps with you, and that begins right now. Step number one, understand your market. And I firmly believe what you want to do is you really want to analyze that market. I'd rather have too much information than not enough information. And sometimes if you don't get enough information, you won't get that key piece that'll tell you what you should do. You won't get that piece that will steer you into a direction that'll definitely make sure that you're successful. So understanding the market, understand the geographic area. Should you sell into a larger area or maybe a smaller area? What does your customer want? Can you make them happy? Can you give them a product at a good price? What you want to always make sure, of course, is you don't want your cost to be so high that you can't sell that product to a customer because they're not going to pay that price. You also don't want to do is undercut the price. You don't want to go in and sell it at a price that's so low, your profit margins will be so thin that you won't be able to reinvest in your business. So no, understanding the market and the customer is a critical piece to any business that you start. Step number 2, crunch the numbers, baby. It is so important. What you want to do is determine how much it's going to cost you to start this business and run it for the very first year. Easy enough to do. Write down everything you know about the cost. Write it down in a notebook or in a legal pad. You're going to write down advertising, equipment, inventory, everything that you can think about. And also, I'm going to suggest you write down your utility bills. Lots of businesses, especially new ones, are started in the home. So if you're going to do that, often those utility bills can skyrocket. Crunching the numbers, making sure you've got a detailed budget, that's so important. So write it all down on a legal pad or a notebook. Once you got that together, condense it, put it into a budget, and then from that budget you'll analyze it, and then that way you'll know what your costs are going to be, and you'll be planning ahead for that first year. Step number 3, determine how you're going to acquire your customers. And you can do that a number of ways. Social media, word of mouth, maybe you're going to use your contacts, maybe you use paid advertising, maybe you'll use all of the above. However you decide to acquire your customers, make sure you put that down on paper. Decide the strategy, how you're going to do it, and then write down how much it's going to cost you to do it. Very important. You'll see that in any budget, any business plan, you're going to have to write that down. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip, an easy way to figure out how to acquire customers. Look and see what your competitors are doing and just copy what they're doing. Look at their plan. Now, if it's a large company, you may not be able to follow that plan completely. Maybe what you're going to have to do is just take a little sample of that and use that sample and maybe mimic that. But that is just a key tip, and it's an important tip because it can save you a lot of steps and it can save you money going down the road. But very important, understand how you're going to acquire your customers and understand how much it's going to cost you. Step number 4, out of the gate when you start your business, your number one goal is to make that customer happy and make that customer a repeat customer. That's money in the bank. In every successful business that you've seen, anytime you've gone even to an ice cream store and you see a long line of people standing out every weekend or every night, you see them standing out, you know that's repeat business. And those people are going back because they love that product. Anytime you see a business that is successful, you know one thing: they have repeat business. And that to me should be your number one goal. Make it a goal. Make your product so good people want it, they want to come back for more. That's always the number one goal in any business. Step number 5, now that's similar to step number 4. You want to be determined to make the best product or offer the best service possible. If you're starting a business, don't think you'll be successful as long as you make a product that's good or almost as good or similar to another business, to your competitor. That's not going to work for 2 reasons. First, you are starting a business. You don't have a track record. You don't have what's called social proof. So people don't know you. They don't know your product. They don't know your service. So what's going to happen? They're more likely to go with someone else. They're going to make the safer choice and they're going to go with your competitor. So make the superior product. Number 2 is if you think by offering a lower price, people are going to flock to your door, that you're going to get all the customers. I'm going to tell you from experience that's not going to work, because what you're going to do is over time, what you're going to do is undercut your price. People are going to expect that lower price all the time. And also, when you charge a lower price, your margins, your profit margins, they're going to be razor thin and you won't be able to reinvest. Remember that old adage, if you build a better mousetrap, the world will be the path to your door. Step number 6, I call it becoming an expert. And this one really kind of dovetails to 4 and 5, but it is important. And I believe this step is so important that it deserves to be talked about separately. And let me tell you why. Most people, I'd say virtually everyone who's about to make a purchase, especially when it comes to maybe buying a specialty item, they want to work with a person who knows all there is about a particular product or service or topic. And you know what? It really doesn't matter if they're buying replacement windows or maybe buying a flat screen television, or you could even be going to a grocery store and buying organic drinks. When people know that you are an expert at something, they're going to trust you and they're going to look to you for advice. And if they do that, they're going to be repeat customers. I did a video about the importance of acquiring a high income skill. I'm going to put a link above one of these sides. I'll put a link to. But acquiring a high income skill, becoming an expert, it's key, because it's going to get you repeat business and it's going to help you to make sales. Step number 7 is measure your progress. This to me is something that I always found fun to do. I like to look at what I've done, what I've accomplished. And I used to do this when I was selling. I do it every week. I'd look at the end of the week, and on Fridays, I'd look at my numbers and say, did I hit my sales projections? What did I do? But I would do that on a weekly basis. And then what I'd do at the end of the month, I'd sit down, I'd really scrutinize my numbers. I'd look to see, did I hit my goals? If I did, I was like, yeah, I did it. How did I do it? I'd make sure I made notes down so that I could refer back to my notes. But if I didn't hit my goals, I'd ask myself why. Why didn't I do it? Sometimes I couldn't answer that question. So what I would do is I'd call a business person friend I knew. I'd say, hey, I didn't hit my goal. This is what happened for the month. What are your thoughts? What do you think? If that person couldn't help me, or maybe I didn't have a person that I wanted to ask, sometimes and oftentimes actually what I did is I had a mentor, and I'd have my mentor, I'd call him on the phone and I'd say, his name was Harry Farr. I'd say, Harry, this is what happened. What do you think? What should I do? And Harry, even though I thought with a lot of experience in business, I sure as heck knew that getting another perspective, having other eyeballs, looking at my numbers, helping me out, helping me guiding me along the way, I knew how valuable that could be. But measuring your progress, that is so key. Measuring by looking at your numbers, scrutinizing your numbers, and then, as I said, doing an assessment. Thank you for watching 7 Steps to Starting a Business After Age 50. And I sincerely hope that you got value in the video. I hope that you were able to learn some things. I also hope that this video with the steps that I've outlined will give you confidence to start your very own business. And something I want to remind you, The information that I gave you, it's from my experiences, but it's also from the experiences of hundreds of other entrepreneurs, business people who started and built their very own successful businesses. So that's all I've got for you today. If you would, please go ahead and subscribe to Over 50 TV. You can do that by hitting that little red button that's underneath your screen. There's also a little bell. If you hit that little bell, you'll get our latest video updates. They'll be delivered right to your inbox. And there's a thumbs up button. Hit that thumbs up button because that'll let me know that you enjoyed watching this video. So without further ado, as I always say, have a great day, everybody.